Hey everyone, Telander here, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Ostium Sagas. Did you know you can get access to a bunch more unreleased Ostium Sagas content? It's easy, just become a supporting patron at the $5 level and above on the Ostium Network Patreon at patreon.com/ostiumpodcast. On our Patreon, you'll get access to many new episodes of the Ostium Sagas you haven't heard before, as well as a bunch of other bonus content. Once again, that's patreon.com/ostiumpodcast. Now, I'd just like to thank some of our new patrons for supporting the Ostium Network. Thank you to Rob, Jedia Care, Bobby, Maggie, and Liloberry for supporting us. We really appreciate it. Okay, let's get this Ostium Sagas episode started, shall we? The Ostium Sagas. '52. Saga 3. 66 million years ago. Recorder's Endnote. Part 7. So it took me a few days, but I think I'm happy with the 5 questions I've settled on. to ask Harcourt about the Conclave team going into the Great Pyramid of Giza. It took me a couple days because I kept changing my mind on what I wanted to ask and what the correct phrasing was, so I had to keep editing. Sort of like when you get your 3 wishes from a djinn, and you need to make sure you ask exactly right, otherwise the djinn is going to seriously screw you over in some way. Obviously, the ramifications aren't exactly as severe and decisive in this case, but I want to make sure I'm asking the right question in a way that I get the answers I want, so I don't confuse Harcourt and/or waste his time, and therefore my time. I'm also very excited to get started with the next Ostium Saga. So here's what I'm going to do, dear listener, wherever you might be. I'll send Harcourt my questions and then get his answers, and presumably his next 5 questions. But before I answer them, we're going to dive into the next saga. And for the sake of limiting redundancy, instead of telling you those questions now and then having Harcourt repeat them in his message, we're just going to go straight to his reply. Sound kushti? Good.
To stevechase@hotmail.com from L. Harcourt at marquette.edu. Subject, some inner workings. Dear Steve, from the tone of your last message, you appeared to be in some sort of hurry or wish to receive answers to your questions in a timely manner. Therefore, I will attempt to be as terse and informative as possible, though I will remind you that I am a history professor and this will not be an easy task. That was a joke, by the way. Question 1. How hard was it for the Conclave to gain unrestricted access to the pyramid complex? I researched this matter fully and came to the following conclusions. This was the 17th century, and as for the treasures of Egypt, it was at a quasi-lull as regards to tourism and interest. Within 2 centuries and the sweeping colonization across the globe, this would all change and the complex would become one of the more popular places to visit on Earth. The Conclave was able to secure access with relative ease. See also my previous message on the Conclave's sway with governments, as you have no doubt surmised. In answer to your second question, there was a stipulation with the Conclave that they would never recklessly pillage sites that were visited, which certainly went a long way to reassure the governments and grant them necessary unrestricted access. What is that powerful line the DC superhero Wonder Woman repeats often? With great power comes great responsibility. And yes, you can probably tell I am somewhat of a comics aficionado. Question 3. Had the Conclave visited the Pyramid Complex site before? Yes, many times. Being such an important location, Conclave agents have been dispatched there every 20 or so years to observe any possible changes, to see if anything new could be learned. This is the same approach applied to many, many sites around the globe. As far as I know, it continues to this day. Question 4. Did the Conclave find anything else of interest at the Pyramid Complex? They did not find anything further of particular interest, which essentially means they found exactly what they expected to at a particular location, other than the journal of the Third Ostium Saga. However, I can provide you with some further details that were not given in the author's endnote from the Ostium Saga. There was some further analysis done on the journal, centuries after its discovery in the Great Pyramid, and after the recording in the Ostium Sagas. One could say an update should be made to the book, but it was agreed long ago that the tome of the Ostium Sagas would never be altered or added to, due to its significance as an invaluable artifact and a historical object. What the analysis confirmed was that the journal was made of materials that had no known equal, meaning they are unique and likely from the future. Every 10 years, a new analysis is done in the journal, but we've yet to fully comprehend what the material composition truly consists of. Small grains of dirt were also found on the cover of the journal, and they were analyzed and dated to match natural material that existed before the arrival of the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. And for your final question, you wish to learn more of the former keeper of the Ostium Sagas, Esmeralda. Alas, if I were to provide you all their details, it would take me many weeks to record. So for now, I will impart you with a few choice tidbits. She is the longest-serving keeper of the Ostium Sagas, so far, having held the position for 91 years. In that time, she added a total of 5 new Ostium Sagas to the collection, including the third Ostium Saga. She is, naturally, one of the most respected keepers to ever grace the position, and invented new ways of researching and cataloging the Ostium Sagas, which I, unfortunately, cannot detail here. Some other time, perhaps. In short, she is what all future keepers of the Ostium Sagas seek to emulate. Very well. That concludes your round of questions, and I now present you with my own. Since I do not want to take advantage of our communication method we have in place here, I will essentially ask for 5 examples of the same thing. What are 5 essential technologies that exist at the Ostium network that make your life easier and or help you achieve your goals as an employee of the Ostium network? Sincerely, Larry Harcourt.